Okay, this is theorem 21, the third angle theorem, and the way this is done is says that two angles of one triangle. So let me draw one. Let's just say I have a triangle and say that one angle is, say, 25 degrees, and let's say this one is 110. And it says they are congruent to two angles on the other triangle. So let me draw another one. Let's do this, and let's say that this angle is 110, and let's say this one up here this time is 25, and it says, okay, if we know that two angles on the triangles are equal, if you see it right there, we're showing that those two are equal, then this theorem says that I don't have to do anything, and it says that the third angle are going to be congruent. So this is saying that regardless, if you have two angles congruent, the third one will also be congruent regardless of the number. And I can actually do the math here and see that it actually is on the setup that I have here. And to do that, if you guys can use your noggins, that'll be great. If not, 110 plus 25 is what number? 135, and I subtract that from, oops, I got that backwards. 180 minus 135 would be 45 degrees, and that's where both those angles would be 45 degrees. But yay! Okay, on example 1, they say, okay, these strange looking figures here, but they're saying that A, B, C, D, E, this first one, A, B, C, D, E, is going to be congruent to F, G, H, I, J. And so do you see that these are mirror images? Like if I was to flip it over, that the IJ would land on top of DE, and just kind of mirror image it over. So that means that this angle D should be equal to this angle I. And also, in your picture here, D is the fourth letter, I is also the fourth letter, so those are congruent angles. The same thing happens with, like, C is the third letter, H is the third letter, so those are congruent. And you can just mirror it right on along the way. The E is fifth, so the J is fifth. Those two angles are congruent. B the same with G, and A the same with F, because of the sequence that they have them in matches and makes those angles congruent, as well as sides. So for this one, to solve for Y, I'm going to take these top angles and set them equal to each other because they're congruent. So that would be 8y minus 9 equals 47. And here's your good old algebra rules. Add them up. So add 9, and that gives you 8y equals, and what is 47 plus 9? That gives me 56, and then I want to divide it by 8 to find out that y is equal to, I believe that's 7, but it is awful late tonight to make sure that I have the right answer. That gives me y, but I also have to find x. I kind of did them backwards. So if I would solve for x, let me cover my highlighter so it doesn't dry out. Okay. X, I see, is on the bottom edge down here. J to F. This is going to be congruent to the bottom of the other side, which is 10. Those are corresponding sides, so they do equal each other. So that means I'm going to have 3x plus 4 is equal to 10. I want to solve this, so I want to subtract 4. That gives you 3x is equal to 6, and then divide that by 3, and x is equal to 2. And there's your two answers. Okay, the next example, I have a figure here. It looks like I slid it off to the side a little bit. It says they want to find the measure of angle F. Well, where's F? F is right here on the end. And in doing so, I'm going to have to use my third angle theorem that if I have two angles, I can find the third angle real easy. If I look at the ABC triangle, I know this is 30 and 110, so I can find the C angle because I know all three angles of a triangle add to a total of 180 degrees. So if I take 110 plus 30, that gives me 140, and then if I do 180 minus 140, that tells me that this remaining angle up here is 40 degrees. Well, if this is a mirror image, because it says D has one little arc right here, that means that is also 30 degrees. It matches A. And then B here has two arcs. It's 110. E also has two arcs, so that means this is 110. So guess what the measure of angle F must be? It must be 40 degrees to match what C is. Okay, I think this is pretty simple lesson, just plugging in and solving for the letters. Remember, corresponding parts are equal to each other, so you set up algebraic expressions and solve them. And remember, your password is algebra pills. I'm sorry, allergy pills. Sorry, there you go.